candidate for mayor, ladies and gentlemen, Craig Burrows.
You must have saw my plane last night. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you so much for being here today. It's finally inspiring to see that people want to get involved in this next campaign. The next mayor we're choosing is someone that could potentially be here for a few years. But today I want to talk about why I want to run for mayor and why it's so passionate in my family to give back. Some of you may or may not know I come from a family of cops. My brother's an RCMP officer who was an air marshal after 9/11, any gang unit in Toronto, and counterterrorism. I got another brother who's an OPP officer as a traffic cop, and he'll tell you 100% that speeding kills, and you're more likely to be killed by a speeding car than a speeding bullet. And lastly, a sister who's a police officer in London who's in the domestic violence unit. So when I talk about public safety, I don't just talk about safe streets. I talk about safer homes. Now, Calgarians, we built this city, and you should feel safe in it. And that's why, as a police commissioner, I was proud to bring beat cops to downtown, give Chief Hansen and the officers the resources they need to do their job to keep us safe. But as we move forward, I want to increase additional safety on LRT platforms and make them safe and clean. Now, you worked hard for your dollars, and you deserve we spend your money properly with value. First thing I'm going to do as mayor, job one, is I am bringing in the Provincial Auditor General to see what has been going on. We've seen over the last 3 years, a council that can't follow a tender process. How do you lose $123 billion and find it again? I don't know how that happens. And we've had members of council here, and especially our fiscal hawk on council, not find this money. How does that happen? Now, what I want to look at doing is also the importance of this city council has to start working better with other orders of government, and especially the province. We need to work together to find solutions for today's challenges. And one thing I want to work with the province and the federal government on is my number one transportation issue, is not just only the airport tunnel, but the LRT to the airport. And I'll tell you why it's so important. That LRT to the airport, we are as a city, we are a great city, no question, but we're poised to be a world-class city. And we can be a world-class city if we build our downtown that's connected to our airport. That airport is the third largest airport in the country. It's the third largest employment center. We have an opportunity of a lifetime to really make our city world-class. It's part of my 5 minutes, though. You've created vibrant communities. We need to work together to implement sustainable planning. We can't continue to keep moving out. We need to look at moving up. But the reality is, if we don't put the right processes in place to provide housing for things like secondary suites or developing around transit-oriented developments, it will never happen. We will always continue to build out, and places like Airdrie and Okotoks will continue to grow and take our tax dollars out of our community. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that I want you to know that I'm not just someone who worries about policing and the bottom line. A mayor has to be someone who cares for all Calgarians, so we don't leave anyone behind. As an alderman, I worked with Mayor Bronconi on the Westgate Hotel project. That project was about getting families, homeless families, off the streets and working with local agencies. To me, that is what being a mayor is about, is making sure that the weakest in our communities are not left behind. And it doesn't have to be a situation where we spend money that's not sustainable. I also believe that the greatest thing about this city are Calgarians and our volunteers. And I want to signal out one particular volunteer, someone like Wayne Stewart, a gentleman who has given back to his community through working with the Homeless Foundation. Those are the kind of people that work hard for our communities, and they do it with nothing in other than just making sure we have a great city. So Wayne, thank you, and all the great volunteers that do all that work. Lastly, I want to talk about what I think is wrong with City Council and why it's disconnected. Ladies and gentlemen, in the worst economic times, this council gave themselves a 5.5% raise, while many people were suffering losing jobs and maybe job cuts to keep their jobs. That 5.5% led to a 12% tax increase that you had to pay. It had nothing to do with hiring more police officers or plowing your streets. It had simply about paying 16,000 people 11%. Do you know if they would have showed leadership and froze their salaries, you know what your property tax would be today? 2%. Now you look at the bridge, a $25 million bridge. What I have a problem with the bridge is that you're telling me that you don't have the money to plow our streets, but you can build a $25 million bridge. Those are the questions about priorities. We're going to get back to basics. We're going to do fire, police protection. I'm going to plow the streets when it snows. I'm going to pick up your garbage. I'm going to fix the potholes. And that is local government at its finest. And when we work with volunteer agencies like Homeless Foundation, we will find solutions to make sure that all Calgarians grow in our city. Thank you.